If you think that making radical changes in your life requires reading hundreds of books, visiting Tibet, or attending 10 trainings, forget about it. All you really need is to think less and talk less. Yes, it sounds paradoxical, but this is exactly the secret that changes everything. Have you ever felt tired not even from life itself, but from how much is going on in your head? Too many thoughts, even more words, and almost no actions that bring clarity and inner peace. No one taught us to slow down, no one taught us to be present. But today you will discover something they don't talk about in schools. We'll discuss the power of a conscious pause, the depth of true silence, and how fewer words and thoughts can lead you to more in life, to focus, to wisdom, to actions that really work. And if you're ready to turn your inner world upside down, write in the comments, "I choose the silence where my best decisions are born." This will be your first small but powerful transformation. Now let's begin. Sometimes the best thing you can say is nothing. The wisdom of silence is not about avoiding communication, but about allowing yourself to hear what usually drowns in noise. Silence opens the way to presence and a clear mind, because when the sounds subside, intuition awakens. In the modern world, where everyone rushes to be heard, the one who can be silent truly hears. True wisdom doesn't need to shout, it whispers in the depths of inner silence. Think of a person sitting by a campfire in the mountains, far from the city noise. There are no words in this scene, but there is serenity and a deep connection with the world. Nature speaks to us not with words, but with a state. And in this state, focus sharpens, a person begins to see more, feel deeper, and think less. This is not emptiness, it's a space for transformation. Where there is no chaos, balance is born. As Lao Tzu said, silence is a source of great strength. People are often afraid of silence because it exposes their inner noise, but it is through silence that we access the wisdom that has long been waiting for us inside. Start small, spend the first 3 minutes of your morning in silence. No phone, no talking. Just with yourself. Feel how your energy and mood for the day change. What about thoughts? Our head is a real hypermarket of thoughts. We constantly think about the past, the future, what would have happened if. But most of these thoughts are just noise. In Buddhism, this is called the monkey mind, which endlessly jumps from branch to branch. But here's the secret, the less you think, the more you start to notice. Presence becomes natural, and mindfulness becomes a habit. You begin to feel the world, not just analyze it. This is emotional healing. You stop being a prisoner of your mind and become its master. Try a simple experiment. On your next walk, put away your phone and don't listen to music. Just walk. Look around. Notice how nature breathes, how the wind touches your skin. In such moments, the mind rests, you focus on the present, and the present is all we have. It is in these moments that wisdom is revealed. You speak less because you already understand everything. You think less because you feel. And you live more because you are present. Of course, it's scary to be left in silence. What if old feelings, fears, doubts come up? But this is exactly the path to emotional maturity. True transformation requires the courage to look inside and, there, in the depths, find answers. They won't come from someone else's advice, but in the moment when you dare to be silent. It is silence that allows you to recognize what really matters. It's like a filter that separates the superficial from the real. It's like tuning a radio. When there's too much interference, you can't catch the right wave. But if you tweak it a bit, remove the noise, the voice sounds clear. Silence is your main helper in this tuning. When a person masters the art of silence, they discover a source of calm within themselves. This is not an escape from the world, but a way to be in it differently. Here's a simple practice. Before responding in a conversation, take a breath and hold it for a couple of seconds. Let silence come between the question and the answer. This gives you time to feel where your response is coming from, your mind or your heart. Such a conscious pause fills communication with meaning and depth. You'll be surprised how much the quality of your interactions changes. You begin to hear not only what others say, but also what you yourself really want to say. In a world full of sounds, where advertising shouts, social media buzzes, and people never stop talking, the one who chooses silence becomes a center of calm. Like an island of serenity in an ocean of chaos. This doesn't mean they don't hear or feel. It means they choose not to get lost in the noise. This ability to keep your attention on what matters develops with practice. Just as muscles grow from exertion, your inner silence grows from habit. Try sitting in silence for at least 15 minutes today. No phone, no books, no talking. It may feel unusual, but it is in this discomfort that transformation lives. You'll see how your thoughts will first rebel, but then clarity will come, then focus, then balance. Such moments are like little retreats in everyday life. They reboot the mind, and the more often you do this, the closer you become to yourself. Many are afraid to be alone with themselves because they don't know who they are without all their roles and habits. But silence gives you the chance to get to know your true self. And yes, it may be uncomfortable at first, but this is how emotional maturity grows. You no longer run from yourself, you begin to accept yourself. When you start talking less, it doesn't mean you close yourself off. It means you start to value the power of words. Words are energy, and every word either creates or destroys. Conscious speech is the ability to speak with clear intention, with kindness and wisdom. Not to impress, but to bring meaning. Here's a simple practice. Before you say something, ask yourself 3 questions. Is it necessary? Is it true? Is it helpful? If the answer to at least one is no, just remain silent. It will be hard at first, but the more you practice this pause, the easier it becomes. Your speech will become less reactive and more chosen, not automatic but directed. And it will create a completely different space for communication, with more respect, more silence, and more truth. It's important to understand that silence in conversation is not weakness, but strength. It's a sign of confidence. It's the ability to hold attention, to be fully present, not to fill the pause with just anything. A person who can hold this silence calmly commands respect. It's as if they're saying, I don't need to speak to be significant. And this inspires, it gives others the right to be themselves too, without pressure or unnecessary words. Conscious speech takes time. It's a habit you form daily, through observation and practice. And the further you go down this path, the less you need, fewer words, fewer proofs, less tension. And that means more calm, more freedom, and more presence. Finally, there are moments in life when words only get in the way. When no phrase can convey the depth of what's happening. That's when silence becomes medicine. Not just the absence of sound, but a conscious space where you finally meet your true self. In this silence, fears, doubts, old pain arise. The point is not to run away, but to stay. Not to drown it out, but to listen. Because only by seeing your shadows can you transform them. Inner silence is like a mirror. It doesn't judge, it shows. In it, you see where pain wasn't lived through, where fear is hidden. And instead of blaming yourself, you learn to be gentle, listening, caring with yourself. This is deep listening to your inner world. Silence is like coming home after a long journey. Home, where no one judges you, where you can just be, where you can finally hear your own heart. Now let's do something simple but powerful together. Take a deep breath, close your eyes for a few seconds, and think, what's your next step toward inner peace? What's one thing you can do today to be a little closer to yourself? Write it in the comments as an affirmation. For example, I allow myself to feel and be at peace with it. Your phrase will be the beginning of your transformation. Remember, this is a journey. The main thing is to keep moving. Step by step. Silence by silence. And at some point, you'll notice it's easier to breathe. That is your strength. That is you.